Previously, I had done a demonstration of the most basic watercolor wash, which is the flat, dry wash. That's where you're putting the color over one area all the same. It's not graduated or shaded in any way. This is alizarin crimson. This time, I'll repeat the exercise only using watercolor layering technique, and that's where I'll be putting a color over top of this one. And so here you can see the application of the basic wash, the flat dry wash. That's the color on dry paper over top of another color, where you can see how you get to layer color. So what I'll do is I'll draw another rectangle that overlaps the first rectangle. And this time I'll use Prussian blue. And remember, lots of liquid, lots of water, because it's watercolor, so that means lots of water, and that way the pigment, the color, watercolor will actually do most of the work. You're not pushing it around with a brush. And again, make sure that you have enough liquid, enough color to cover the area that you want to color. And test the color. That's kind of weak. I'll add some more color. Here you can see that I've got the dried watercolor. This is from the tube. I use Winsor & Newton. And it dries out somewhat, but it's moister than what you would get from the dry watercolor. And then I have a second well here where I'm actually mixing the color. The nice thing about this is if you're painting and you want to have a variation in the intensity or saturation of color, you can have a saturated color up here and a weaker color down here. I'll get it just a little bit more intense. I think I'll go with that. Not quite. Okay, I'll use that. Okay, so again, build up a bead up in the corner. And one thing you'll notice is that the brush, a good brush, is kind of springy, which means that when you release the brush, you touch the paper and you release the brush from the paper, it will release the fluid, which is very important, because sometimes, like when you're doing a flower and you don't want too much color in one area of the petal, you don't lift up the brush there. And you can see again, I'm leading the color down the paper. You can see in that first wash in the alizarin crimson that there are absolutely no brush marks, which is okay. Other times you will want to have brush marks. Remember to keep that bead of color so it's fluid. And see how we're getting another color there where they overlap. This is very important in watercolor. You can mix your color in the palette, or you can mix it on the paper, which is mostly what I prefer. It's more unpredictable that way. So keep going across. And that's Prussian blue. Prussian blue over top of alizarin. Get down to the bottom. You can touch the tip of your brush to paper towels and kind of neaten up the end there. Pick up the extra fluid. And then you let it dry and stir it. Looks like I missed a spot up there, but that's okay. Right there. And that's it. That is, again, a demonstration of dry wash, the flat, dry wash. That's putting the color over dry paper. And also the layering, where we're layering the Prussian blue over top of the alizarin. And we end up with another color. And that's it.